George Washington was chosen as Commander-in-Chief in the Revolutionary War because of his previous experience and military background. He served and was successful in the 7-Year War between most of the great powers of the world. George Washington was one of the most remembered founding fathers of the United States of America. George Washington was elected to be the first president of the United States of America. Because of his great leadership and courage, he is one of the most well-remembered presidents of all time. George Washington shaped the wonderful country of the United States of America into what it is today. George Washington did not receive pay for being the chief of command in the Revolutionary War. As long as his expenses were paid off at the end of the year, he did not want to receive the money. He felt honored to have been chosen for this position and accepted it as is. The major purpose for the Declaration of Independence was to share the colonists' motivations for seeking their independence as a free country. They wanted to make their own laws, elect their own president, and most of all be free of Great Britain. The one man who was asked to draft the Declaration of Independence was named Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was an American founding father, the main author of the Declaration of Independence, and the third elected President of the United States of America. At the beginning of the American Revolution, Thomas Jefferson, served in the Continental Congress representing the colony of Virginia. When the war ended, he became an American diplomat stationed in Paris. Thomas Jefferson is also recognized as the first United States Secretary of State, serving under President George Washington. He was elected President of the great United States of America on March 4, 1801, and was elected out of office on March 4, 1809. The Declaration of Independence helped many other countries by making them question their own government and how it was run by their leaders. The Declaration of Independence has had the most global impact of all American documents. It has inspired movements for freedom and inspired self-determination among countries all around the world. The Articles of Confederation were written in the year of 1773. The original purpose for the Articles of Confederation was to serve as the written documents that made the government of the United States of America. The government took time to form, but later would become the most powerful and most wealthy government of all the world. The realistic outcomes of the Articles of Confederation were that they prevented the United States of America from making their own foreign policy. The French formed an alliance with the United States of America because the alliance promoted their trade commercial ties with many other countries. All in all, it increased their economy by a huge amount. With an increased economy, the French could operate a better government, could offer better jobs to many of their people. Congress chose to send Benjamin Franklin, Silas Deane, and Arthur Lee. Benjamin Franklin was one of the main founding fathers of the United States. He earned the title the first American later in his life because he spoke up for the 13 colonies in the time of war. Silas Deane was an American merchant, politician, and diplomat. He served as a delegate for the Continental Congress and was one of the first foreign diplomats for the United States of America. Arthur Lee is a physician and was against slavery. He also served as an American diplomat during the Revolutionary War of America. These men were chosen to perform a model treaty in France. The Treaty of Alliance with France was signed on February 6, 1778. This date marks a very important time in the United States history. The Treaty of Paris was signed in Paris, France, on January 14, 1784. The three American negotiators were John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and John Jay, who were masters at negotiating. The treaty was named after where it was signed and is crucial to the future of the United States of America. The article that was the most important to the Americans in the Treaty of Paris was the Preliminary Article of Peace. This article stated that Great Britain acknowledged the independence and sovereignty of the 13 colonies. The primary goal of the Treaty of Paris was to get the 13 colonies to be recognized as a free and independent state. The British had one major representative at the Treaty of Paris. His name was David Hartley. David Hartley was appointed by King George III to go to Paris and negotiate the Treaty of Paris with the Americans. He was a very important member of Parliament to King George III. The writers of the Federalist Papers were Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay. Alexander Hamilton was one of the main founding fathers of the United States of America. Hamilton was Chief of Staff to General Washington and was one of the major promoters of the Constitution of the United States. He also served in the Revolutionary War and was eventually promoted to serve under George Washington. James Madison was an American statesman and was the fourth elected President of the United States. He earned the name Father of the Constitution for being a major promoter of the American Constitution. John Jay was an American diplomat, signer of the Treaty of Paris, and a Chief of Justice of the United States of America. He is also known for being one of the major founding fathers of the United States of America. There were 85 Federalist Papers written in all. The Americans did not know who the true authors of the 85 papers were until much later when the names Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay were released. Federalist number 84 says that the Bill of Rights was not necessary for the Constitution of America. Given name means Roman here. This came from a Roman legend named thus. The official definition of Federalist is a member or supporter of the Federalist Party. The definition of ratify is to sign or give formal consent to make something valid. The Constitution was ratified in the year 1781. The states ended up having more power because they wanted to protect the majority rights of the people of the 13 colonies. One major problem with having one group having more power over the other was that the one group who had more power would be in complete control because they, the more powerful group, could overrule any ideas that the other groups had. This making decisions very difficult.